Okay, is everybody set? We've got a beautiful day here. Okay, welcome to the Eliot Church. This will be a lay leader service, of which there will be several, prepared and presented by various lay people during the 2022-2023 sabbatical year. My name is Bob McBride. I'm happy to have the opportunity to present this service. The topic of today's service is faith at the Eliot Church. It is a big topic, and I hope I'm not too far over my head. And I realize that at the Eliot Church, each of us can determine what faith means for themselves. So this may be just my own view of what faith means at this moment in time to me at the Eliot Church. So a better description of the topic is what faith means to me at the Eliot Church. We will consider this from an Eliot Church perspective, which does not constrain us from or force us to believe in any specific doctrines, creeds, or descriptions of God or divine revelation. But I think we all believe in the value of truth and kindness, and we believe in making our world a better place. The hymns and readings and service are meant to reflect those shared beliefs. At this time, we'll have a couple of announcements, and I'm going to start with the first announcement, which is quite important because it has to do with our fantasy baseball league at the Eliot Church. It was a great season, and Margaret came out on top again.
Barely.
It was quite a tussle, but after all the season came to pass, Margaret was just too much for anybody else to handle.
Who did she beat in the final, Tom?
We won't go into that. It was a heartbreaker.
But we were all rooting for Margaret.
You see what I face here. Rosemary, would you please handle the rest of the announcements?
Hi, thank you. And I wanted to, as the moderator, just thank Bob for stepping up and taking on this week's service, which gives us, it's just fun. I mean, it's fun to have that level of commitment that somebody's going to stand up and say, I'll handle the service. So thank you, Bob, for doing that. And next week we have another out-of-pulpit preacher, a divinity student, and there'll be more about her in this week's newsletter. And then after that, we have Adam back for the duration of this calendar year. So he'll be here through actually February. So he will have finished his first segment of his sabbatical time away. So this week we have Bob, next week we have another a divinity student from New Haven, and then Adam will be back. And the only other announcement that I would make is just to remind people that we are having coffee hour, and it's actually in the parlor. So you just step up, for those of you who are not familiar with the church, it's just to my left, and it's up 2 steps, and there's snacks and coffee available. We welcome everybody to join us at that time. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Todd Jimmick, and speaking of calendar year, there's a lot of things going on this month here at the church, starting with the calendar photo competition, and you can't miss it, actually. And so after the service, if you have time, come see me and grab a ballot, and you can vote for your favorite images, and your votes are the most important part. Typically about 200 people come through the show every year, and they the winning images go into a calendar that's used to support local nonprofit groups and kind of build community. And if you're looking for a dive into calendar history, take a look at the calendars going back over 15 years in the front pew, and get a sense of what this community means to people. And 2 other quick notes. We have on the 30th of October a concert put on by our own Steve James, and there are flyers up front here. And there is then our world famous jack-o'-lantern competition, and you are invited to enter that also. We put them around the perimeter of the church, weather permitting, and you can see them way down the road, and it totally distracts joggers in a good way. Thanks.
Stephen, would you give us a beautiful song?
And if you'll all join me now in saying our covenant, which you will find in the insert in our order of service. In the love of truth and in the spirit of Jesus, we unite for the worship of God and the service of all.
Through every land.
guess you might as well stay standing because we're going to do our first hymn. So I wanted just a little bit of background on the first hymn. It's in the gray hymnal, number 193, and the name is Our Faith is But a Single Gem. This is new to many of us in the congregation, but we can do it. So Stephen plays through the hymn essentially one whole time. So listen for the melody and then just jump in and we'll start singing. So just don't start singing until kind of Stephen's gone through one time through. We'll figure this out. Thanks.
Reading from Mattthew 13, 45, 46. Pearl of great price. I guess that I thought of this reading because of the hymn we just sang and the similarity of gems and pearls. The parable from Matthew speaks of the tremendous value of the kingdom of heaven. It reads, "Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man, seeking goodly pearls, who when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it." It actually follows on the heels of a very similar parable about a treasure hidden in a field, which reads, "The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field." Both of these parables say that you should acquire things of lasting value that will not wear out or diminish over time. In these parables, pearls and treasure. I'm going to say that the thing of great and lasting value in my life is my faith, because along with my family and loved ones, it is what I use to anchor my life and my values. The next reading makes the argument that neither pearls nor gems nor treasures nor money are as valuable as faith. Cosmic currency. And by the way, this was written when there were more currencies in play than there are today, but in any case. When you're adding up your riches, don't use the dollar, franc, or pound, nor the peso, rupee, yuan, or guilder, and of course not the crown. It's not even the yen or euro that's accepted the whole world round. When it comes to real wealth, you need something much more profound. It's more dramatic than the drachma, and more solid than the bat. It's more real than the real, and the shekel would fall flat. It's more dynamic than the dinar, a better target than the mark. Not as gaudy as the real, and the lira is just the lark. The currency that matters is something you don't need to print. The currency that matters is not locked up in some mint. When we go to meet our maker and we're balancing accounts, we won't be too concerned about earthly currency amounts. The things that we exchange that really build or destroy wealth, the things that pass between us that enhance or break our health, are things like blood and hate, compassion, jealousy, and fear, things we cannot buy and sell, that tear apart or draw us near. On these things of real value, we have complete control of our amounts. Good things make our lives richer. Bad things reduce our wealth accounts. All good things are based on belief and trust that we are lovable and loved. Bad things are based on insecurity and fear that we're not able to be loved. To help build a wealthy world, we must speed up the exchange rate, buying long on peace and tolerance and going short on anger and hate. And we've got to teach our children to invest in things of real worth, so their children's children can lead rich lives on the planet we call Earth.
Let us join together in the prayer that Jesus taught us, the Lord's Prayer, which is in your order of service. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
The next reading is a couple of quotes from Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh was in fact, he just passed on earlier this year, was a Buddhist monk, Vietnamese Buddhist monk, and an author and a teacher and a peace advocate. When another person makes you suffer, it is because he suffers deeply within himself, and his suffering is spilling over. He does not need punishment, he needs help. That's the message he is sending. And the second quote is, "My actions are my only true belongings." I must admit that it is easier for me to repeat the sayings of Thich Nhat Hanh than it is for me to have a charitable heart towards Donald Trump or Rudy Giuliani. But for others, it may be equally difficult to have a charitable heart for Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi. And we probably all think we are good people and good judges of character.
If you'll join me now in the responsive reading, which is again in the Greg hymnal, number 591. And the way this works is that I will read the words that are in normal type, and then you in the congregation will read the words that are in italics. The name of this is I Call That Church Free. I call that church free, which enters into covenant with the ultimate source of existence.
That sustaining and transforming power, not made with human hands.
It binds together families and generations, protecting against the idolatry of any human claim to absolute truth or authority.
This covenant is the charter and responsibility and joy of worship in the face of death as well as life.
I call that church free, which brings individuals into a caring, trusting fellowship.
That protects and nourishes their integrity and spiritual freedom, that yearns to belong to the Church Universal.
It is open to insight and conscience from every source. It bursts through rigid tradition, giving rise to new and living language, to new and broader fellowship.
It is a pilgrim church, a servant church, on an adventure of the Spirit.
The goal is the prophethood and priesthood of all believers, the one for the liberty of prophesying, the other for the ministry of healing.
It aims to find unity in diversity under the promptings of the Spirit, that loveth where it listeth, and maketh all things new.
It's time now for the offering for the Eliot Church. And who's doing that? Just one? Yeah. personal gifts, a free gift to a free church.
The Eliot Church is a liberal Christian church in the Congregationalist tradition. We do not have any required beliefs. We are free to form our own beliefs and make up our own minds. This means that we alone, this Eliot Church congregation, choose how to live and worship as a people of faith, sharing our own perspectives and resources. There's a great line in the movie Oh God, where George Burns, playing the role of God, says, "Religion is easy. I'm talking about faith." This morning I would like to share my perspective of what faith means to me at the Eliot Church. First, let's look at a few definitions of the word faith. In my American Heritage College dictionary at home, the word faith is defined as, and there are a few variations here, 1, a confident belief in the truth, value, or trustworthiness of a person, an idea, or a thing. 2, belief that does not rest on logical proof or material evidence. 3, the theological acceptance of God's will. 4, the body of dogma of a religion. Or 5, a set of principles or beliefs. I also looked online at the Oxford Dictionary and found faith defined as 1, complete trust or confidence in someone or something, very similar to number 1 in my college dictionary. Or 2, strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof, which kind of melds together 2, 3, and 4 in my dictionary. Finally, and I hope this is not dragging too badly, if I look at Hebrews 11:1, faith is defined as the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. That's pretty mystical, and I'm not sure it works for all of us, but as we can see, some of these definitions involve belief in God or in certain doctrines of a religion. When I was growing up as a member of the Catholic Church, that was exactly what faith meant, or was supposed to mean. And it is probably my need to redefine what faith means that led me to prepare this sermon. Because since the Eliot Church does not have any specific belief requirements, those definitions of faith involving God or religion do not necessarily apply at the Eliot Church. But let's look at the other parts of the definitions. The primary definition given in my dictionary is confident belief in the truth, value, or trustworthiness of a person, an idea, or a thing. The primary definition shown online on the Oxford Dictionary is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. I think these definitions are moving toward what faith means to me at the Eliot Church. So what do I think the word faith means for me at the Eliot Church? It does seem that it has to imply some hope and or belief in something. I mean, what is it worth, or what does it mean to say that we're a community of faith if our faith hopes for and believes in nothing? So the question is, faith in what? To me, it seems that we have faith in each other, and faith that our involvement with the Eliot Church helps us and makes us better, happier people. When I say we have faith in each other, what does that mean? To me, it means that we believe that each of us is honestly trying to find what each of us feels to be good and true in our own lives, and to help others to do the same. It means that we believe in each other, and that we will try to make the world a better place for ourselves and for others. This is consistent with our covenant, which speaks of our love of truth and service of all. That's pretty good, right? I believe that we, the members of the Eliot Church, believe in each other, and in our honest commitment to make the world a better place. Fantastic. But wait a minute. There's also this thing about the Eliot Church being an open and affirming church. What does that imply? It means that, and I quote, "We made the choice to become a community that explicitly welcomes people of every family structure, sexual orientation, and gender identity and expression. We also welcome people of all ages, genders, abilities, races, nationalities, faith backgrounds, and of every economic and social status." I suppose we could extend the welcome to include people of every political belief. That's pretty much everybody on the planet today. So there was no one we would turn away from our door if they chose to attend the Eliot Church. So theoretically, anyone and everyone could be members of the Eliot Church. This could be where the real leap of faith comes in, because it implies that I not only believe in the current members of the Eliot Church, but also all the potential members of the Eliot Church. In other words, I have to believe in humanity as a whole, to sincerely seek the truth as they see it, and try to live in a way that makes the world a better place. This is a whole lot harder for me to wrap my mind around. It is easy for me to look around at the current members of the Eliot Church and have a confident belief in the truth, value, or trustworthiness of that person. But would I have the same confidence in, say, a pro-lifer, or a Capitol Hill attacker, or a gun rights activist, if they wish to come to the Eliot Church and join our congregation? Maybe those are not realistic examples. After all, there are many people who would have no interest in attending a service at the Eliot Church. So there could be a major degree of self-selecting involved that would make for far more likely like-minded individuals coming to the Eliot Church, and they would be easier to trust and easier to have faith in. But how would I really know if any particular person from any particular background or circumstance would be sincere in their desire to attend or join the Eliot Church and subscribe to our covenant? And in an even broader sense, can my faith encompass the hope and belief that all people have the capacity to strive for truth and for the well-being of all? That is what I think faith is for me at the Eliot Church. The hope and belief that all people have the capacity to strive for truth and for the well-being of all. That is where the secondary definition, belief that does not rest on logical proof or material evidence, comes into play, and maybe even Hebrews 11:1, which speaks of things hoped for and things not seen. With or without some divine presence, can I have the faith in the inherent goodness of our world and the people and things in it? That is the faith that I am seeking, and that is what the Eliot Church helps me find. I think the Eliot Church is a wonderful spiritual place that allows us to seek and form our individual views and understanding of the good and the true, and to stretch and expand who and what we have faith in. As George Burns said in the movie, "Oh God, religion is easy. I'm talking about faith." We'll now do the hymn number 67 in our great hymnals. We sing that together. Empathy and kindness. I don't really know what it's like to be you, and you don't really know what it's like to be me. But we can both kind of know, and that's what they call empathy. Not caring to see is willful blindness. Trying to know is an act of kindness. But on this matter, we get to choose whether we try to step inside each other's shoes. I don't really know how it feels to be you, and you don't really know how it feels to be me. But the fact that we even try to know is the best thing about empathy. If we do try, we might not get it right. But if we're open and honest, we'll gain insight. And if we share and listen to one another, we'll realize that we are sister and brother. I don't really know what it's like to be you. You don't really know what it's like to be me. But we can both try to know, and that's when we have empathy. Nice deeds without empathy are good manners. Nice deeds with empathy are acts of kindness. Now we'll have another hymn. Number 1 in your gray hymnal. May nothing evil cross this door. Please stand if you're able. May nothing evil cross this door, and may fortune never cry about these windows made of roar and rain. My faith made strong, the rafters will stand the pattering of the storm. This heart, though of the world grown chill, will keep you warm. We shall walk softly through these woods, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner moves into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep a out and hope within. Please sit down. I realize that it can be extremely difficult and maybe even unrealistic or impossible to believe that all humans have the capacity for good and truth and caring for others. We are regularly faced with situations in the news and in our lives that seem to prove the continued capacity for and existence of man's inhumanity to man. But here I stand in a beautiful little church in a relatively safe and affluent part of the world, and I say that I will strive for these ideals. I say that I will try to have faith in mankind and some inherent goodness within all of humanity. It is certainly an enormous challenge to really sustain and nurture that belief, and an even greater challenge to manifest it by the way I live my life and by the things I do. I pray that I will be kinder and wiser and more aware of the inherent goodness that I believe lies inside everyone, even though it sometimes may be overshadowed by fear and selfishness that spur myself or others to unkind acts of violence, cruelty, or rage. I hope that I can use my faith to draw out that inherent goodness in myself and others and make the world a better place. Finally, I want to express my thanks and gratitude for the opportunity to contribute to the lay leader's service. And especially I want to express my thanks to Rosemary, who guided me through this and gave me courage, and to Stephen for selecting such beautiful pieces of music and doing such a great job. Thank you very much.